Capel, if you want to open with a statement.
Congrats to North Carolina. They played really well tonight. You know, they were going through some adversity with their two leading scorers out, but guys stepped up and played really well for them. Zayden High had a career high. Was really good, and Trimble was very good. I don't know how to pronounce 44's last name, but he got off to a great start and played well. I thought we had some chances, but our inability to finish, as we got close to the basket, some of those plays. Also, our inability to take away easy baskets, transition defense, understanding our rotations. Excuse me. When we doubled the post, we didn't do a great job of that. And then just some individual defense where we have to be better. We've had an eventful week since the last game. Cam has not practiced. He rolled his ankle against Duke. And so I'm grateful for him for getting treatment around the clock Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and to be able to give us the minutes, not just the game that he had, but the minutes that he played. And then Polo hadn't been with us since the Duke game. He's had something going on in his family, and he flew up this morning. Actually got here, I think he landed in Raleigh-Durham at noon and was able to get here and give us really good minutes. So I'm grateful for that.
Jeff, you mentioned the hot start that North Carolina had. There was a moment towards the end of the half, you guys were able to kind of put a lid on things and get some stops. What was working for you?
We started switching, and then we did a better job. That allowed us to do a better job of keeping the basketball in front of us, not giving up penetration. I think at the half they had 20 paint points, and I would bet 8 to 12 of those came early. Again, we have to do a better job in transition defense. But towards the end of the half, when we were able to put together some stops, that's what happened.
I mean, they're known just for going on these crazy runs. How frustrated is it that they started the game on one?
Well, it's frustrating, period, that they started it. I mean, again, we game planned, we went through stuff, and the fact that, we didn't do a good job of guarding the basketball early. Like, we knew exactly what they were going to do, and we worked on it, excuse me, for a day and a half. Thursday we couldn't do much in practice. I had 6 guys in practice that were able to physically practice. And so, again, a lot of Thursday was film work and individual work. But it's frustrating because these are all things that we went through. Zayden High, he's a left shoulder guy. I don't think he scored over his right shoulder once today. Trimble, he's a driver. We're out trying to pressure him. He's a driver. I think in conference play, he's made 10 threes in 11 games, so he's a driver. We were out trying to pick him up 35 feet away from the basket. It's not smart. Powell's a right driver. We give him his right hand, he drives and gets a layup. Trimble's a right driver. We give him his right hand, he drives and gets, to the free throw line. 44 is going to shoot it every time he touches it when you watch him on film. And that's what he did to start the game. And so that is very frustrating.
Transition defense was an issue against SMU too. Do you see it as more kind of execution focused effort?
Transition defense has been a problem for us for a while. It was a problem against Duke, problem against SMU, and certainly this afternoon against North Carolina. Part of it is fatigue. Part of it is concentration. I hesitate to say lack of effort because I think fatigue plays into that. But we have to be able to get over that. We have to be able to beat it. Again, the thing that we have preached over and over is we have to take away easy baskets. These teams that we're playing are too good just to give them easy baskets. We want to make them have to take tough shots in order to score. The easy ones, that's just, it's difficult in any game, no matter who you're playing, but especially when you're playing against a good team.
With a week off, how do you kind of use this time together?
Hopefully we can get guys a little bit healthy, a little bit more healthy. We can regroup, work on some things. We haven't had a lot of practice time. When we've had practice, because of lack of bodies, there's not much we can do 5-on-5. Hopefully we can get back to some more competitive stuff, maybe in some 3-on-3, some 4-on-4. But just try to use this week to work on us to get better. Later in the week, we'll start preparing for Notre Dame. That's who we play, right? Yeah, Notre Dame. but spend the first part really trying to work on some of these things that we need to correct.
Omari was going, Trimble's a really good defensive guard, but what can he maybe do to handle pressure like that?
He's got to be able to do everything better. He's got to be able to concentrate better. He's got to know the purpose of what we're doing offensively and what we're running. We have to be able to come out of a timeout and something that we've drawn on the board that we've worked on I don't know how many times, and we have to be able to execute that. We got to know where we are on the floor. We have to be stronger. Trimble's been a really good 4-year player, and he's a great example. I don't know how much you'll see this anymore, where a guy stays at one place for 4 years, doesn't play much as a freshman, plays more as a sophomore, waits his turn, and then now it's his team, it's his moment, and he's taking advantage of that. It's a great lesson for Omari. He's a freshman, and he's been thrust into, a big role for our basketball team, and he's a good player. But, we need him to be better. We're asking a lot of him. We need him to be better. So it's a tough matchup against a really battle-tested senior.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Jeff.